Welcome back to Missing the Homies. This is the show with my homies. We're ending the month on a high because we're not really ending the month.
I'm ending the month on a high.
Oh boy.
Let me flex the San Francisco Giants squeezed to death on them.
And I saved my last pre-dead billionaire for the end of the month.
Wow, save the can, dude. Wash it. It's a collectible.
I saved a box too because I want it before it changes. Uh
That's so
yeah.
real. Should we pop? Should we do a can
Dude,
pop?
popping to before you crack, Tony. I feel like saying thank you for recording a pod with me is almost silly because of how much fun it is. But thank you for all of the hoops that we jumped through this month and spending the time and kicking it.
Hey man, it's my pleasure.
Ah.
Yes. Yes, boy.
So, like we said in the PSB, um, that we are not really ending the month because the initial plan um bring our most recent keepsake, unless you brought your most recent keepsake.
Well, you know what? I, as always, struggled with responding to the prompt directly. I like to take the long road. Um,
Of
so I
course.
did bring a keepsake, literally, but I also brought with me like my reflections on keepsakes.
I love it. That is part of the reason why I love to do the broad prompts, because we get
We
there.
should, when show and tell comes back all the way, you should an element of the show should be you just trying to like give prompts that I can't answer in stupid abstract ways.
Just something
Like really
so
challenge yourself to
specific.
find a prompt that's like, bring in a piece of your car that you like. And then I'm like, so I have like this novel by this Chilean poet, and I have like a CD that I
But
made
hear
in
me
high
out, but
school.
hear me out. It was
But listen,
from
it,
my
it can,
first car.
it,
It was actually the novel that I kept in my glove box that a cop pulled me over one time and I handed them instead of my registration and he let me go.
yeah. Yeah, like that'd be a fun challenge. I remember, and you never made good on it, but over Christmas break, when we were talking about butt rock, I think it was when you and Nair made your initial inquiry about butt rock. I sent you like a 5 song butt rock playlist, and I was like, it'd be funny as a little challenge and like a good mental exercise for me if you basically mad lib like I am eating hot
Yeah.
Cheetos and feeling sad and it's raining. Send me a song.
Well, ever since, I mean, being in Florida, when we were listening to hella butt rock, I was thinking, what would butt
Florida's a
rap?
good butt rock town.
Oh, huge. We played so much Jimmy Buffett.
Yes.
Uh,
Not butt rock though. That's not butt rock. That's yacht rock.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And the only logins you need to remember is Kenny. That
That's true.
that
That's
used to be
that's a good point. That'd be a
that
good t-shirt.
well, that used to be so my dad loved yacht rock. He had, or still loves, but he had XM in his car and he
Hell
would
yeah.
always have it set to the yacht rock station.
It's
And
great.
his favorite thing, like he used to laugh so hard at all of like the commercial breaks where that was one of the ones that they say. They'd be like, welcome to XM 37 Yacht Rock Radio, where the only logins you need to remember are Kenny. And my dad would
That's
fucking lose
incredible.
it. It was so
I
fun.
can't, but Kenny Loggins was on the Yacht Rock channel.
That was literally the only one I
I
remember
feel
how
like
to
I only
remember.
know a couple Kenny Loggins songs, but to me, those are more like butt rock than yacht. But maybe I need to do a little more research.
I don't know. I can't. I can't think of any other of those like taglines that they would say. But I feel like Jimmy Buffett was definitely one of them. Um. So yeah. So for the prompt, my most recent keepsake will be revealed at a later date.
I mean, I guess I'll just sort of I'll spill some of the PSB into the main episode. Like, we've been tracking a package that you mailed to me, and I don't know what is in it. Um, I'm confused as to how you would be mailing me your keepsake. So I'm hoping that like it includes a keepsake for me, which will then force me to have a direct answer to the prompt.
Yes.
Good.
so so in I mean, true to form, I had this idea written on this white notepad,
Yeah, the oversized post-it note.
probably the first week of the month, and I
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, this is going to be a great idea to end the month on." And naturally, as I'm on vacation in a different state, as we're like trying to hang out at the beach and I'm also working, like that's when I was like, "Oh shoot, I got to order this thing instead of
Oh,
doing it a week before."
you know
But
what
hey,
though? I love that about you. I
it's the
love
thought
that
that
about you.
counts. In
Yeah.
my heart,
Well,
in my heart, if you're going to be late but you show up as a spectacle or with something, it negates being late. And
in
that's
the Will Smith film Independence Day, he would describe it as, I like to make an entrance.
I do love to make an
Yeah, you like
entrance.
to make an entrance. That's your deal. I love that. Well, good. I look forward to it. We'll have to cut a time travel episode to get it in before the month is over.
Hey, and that's perfect because time is a construct and we're recording these at an undetermined time.
Yeah, we do Missin the Homies for a month. We didn't say which month it was,
Another classic bit of
but
show and tell.
let's just say Dune 3 was really good. No, I don't know. I don't know. I've never even seen the Dune movies.
I love the Star Wars prequels. I love the Star Wars movie that just came out. Perfect. That could set us at any time.
Yeah, really, that's a huge, that's 40, 50 years. I think 60. I don't know. I don't know how to do math. Hey, speaking of movies, can I make you feel old?
Of
Can I
course.
make you feel how I look?
Yes.
So in class today, we're talking about I'm trying to think how much of the lecture I want to put into the podcast. Bill, like this video if you want more. Um, we were talking about this concept in writing studies called multimodality,
Hmm.
which is just that's like a $10 word. It just means thinking about writing beyond words on a page. Like it's not just letters and
Yeah.
alphabet and paragraphs, and that actually we read things that communicate using multiple forms of communication or multiple modes of communication. So it's this idea that you analyze and write in multi modalities. So, like a movie is a good example because movies are made of print based writing, the dialogue, the scene directions,
Yeah.
but then the camera person is creating visuals,
Yeah.
and the visuals among within, the whole range of visuals in film is like spatial and gestural features. So that's this idea of multimodality. So I
Gotcha.
teach an essay by a Canadian scholar named Dale Jacobs, who like in 2007 put out this really cool article that talks about how not only are comic books this effective teaching tool, but they like perfectly demonstrate why we should be teaching writing in these multimodal ways. Now that article came out 17 years ago. Now we know that students' whole lives are digital. They're on their phone. They're
Yeah.
consuming
You're
texts
you're
that
losing out
almost
if you're just sticking to words on a page.
the majority of the information that our students encounter and are expected to create
Ingest. Yeah.
are like not print based.
Yeah.
So he makes that argument, and he further makes the argument that like, hey, actually, comic books are legit.
Yeah.
And
Comic books are art.
that is an interesting argument to make because that's not a controversial take these days. You know, the players on the football team have a favorite anime.
Yeah.
Comics are not what they used to be. So I'm going to ask you the same question I asked my class today. What happened the year after this article came out? This article came out in 2007. What happened in 2008 that changed the cultural position on comics?
Oh my god. Oh, cultural position on comics. 2008. I was gonna say Shrek won the Oscar, but that is not in 2008.
No.
What changed the cultural
And listen,
position?
I can't put my thumb any heavier on the scale. You're the perfect person to answer this question.
I know, 2008. What happened in 2008? Well, oh, Iron Man 1 hit theaters,
That's
which
exactly
like,
right. That's
yeah,
exactly right. That was like the beginning of this very hard pivot
of the
from
MCU.
like nerdy, nerdy dude in smelly Hawaiian shirt comic book to like number one peak popular text in culture. And they were like, huh? And I
Really?
was like, yeah, Iron Man came out, the MCU. And they were like, no, that's always been. And I was like, no, no.
Bro, what? I
So
remember
it
I
didn't, they
that's
couldn't wrap their heads around that like the MCU started. It was like omniscient to them.
that's insane because like I remember I just saw I don't know if I sent it to you, if I sent it to my homie Kieran, but there was like a picture of a Trojan horse, and it's like Iron Man 1 is the picture of the Trojan horse, and on the inside it says my MCU addiction, and it's like the gates were like my life, and I so
That's
vividly
hilarious.
remember sitting in the theater watching Iron Man 1 and being like, this is gonna take an insane amount of my life. Like this
Yeah.
is gonna fill my life, and I love it.
I just remember thinking like, it was so cool and novel. It
Yeah,
was like this is like I had to that point in my life I had not really seen a movie like that. Um, and man, boy, do I miss that.
and I think it's so funny because like even now seeing it, um, like with RDJ being out of the MCU, it's just like that because that was not even the first. That wasn't even like the third, fourth, fifth attempt at starting the MCU. Like
Right.
so many movies had come out before that.
Blade,
Blade.
Spider-Man.
Oh my gosh.
Wasn't there or did Fantastic Four come out before Iron
Fantastic
Man?
Four came out with 3 movies. I think they came out with 2 movies before Iron Man came out.
Did the Edward Norton Hulk come out before Iron Man?
I think they came out the same year, or Edward Norton's might have came out 1 year before. But
Like
like,
'07 maybe?
yeah, like
Yeah.
super super similar. And like the Incredible Hulk, the Edward Norton one was so good. But I remember sitting in the theater, and I think it was like the end credit scene and like them fully being like, no, we're gonna build out this whole world. And it was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, this is so
Yeah.
cool.
No, I remember like you could feel in the air like something had changed. Like
Yeah.
something was never ever going to be the blockbuster comic book movies. It was a big change. But at
They
any
came
rate,
for the crown.
it was unimaginable to my students that like it wasn't always like that. I was
Yeah.
like okay.
So
They were like Iron Man. That movie came out 1,000 years ago. I'm like, well, okay. I mean,
whoa.
it is old, I guess. It is, it's 16-year-old movie, but like,
Whoa. Whoa. It's gonna
yeah,
be 20, it's closer to 20 than it
yeah.
is to coming out. Like,
I
wait,
went to
that's
see it. Me and the boys went to see it before prom, before
whoa.
senior prom. We went while our dates were getting ready for prom. We went to see Iron Man in our tuxedos.
Yo, Kieran, it's insane to me that like Kieran is in town doing his residency for med school, and like
Cool.
I am a married man with a house with a home, and we saw that movie in the MJR like theater with
I love it. I
I
miss
think we
it.
got
Oh my
dropped
God.
off. That's insane. Anyway, so the multimodality of it all.
Yeah. And of course, I had him looking at the Coheed comic book.
Dude, speaking of comic books in relation to the multimodality, that brings me to what I brought for show and tell in place of most recent keepsake,
Let's do it. Run
because
it.
like we said, we'll come back. And Melanie, this one's for you, since that first episode of the month we started off on a hitch. I'm bringing back what I talked about in that first episode, especially because I think it
Yo.
it hits even harder. So Murder Falcon, insane, insane comic I got for Christmas from Renee. I think you personally would love this. This is super, like,
DJ Prof D.
DJ Profty, you would absolutely love. Like, this is a recommendation for you. Bill, I mean, check it out. It's
Maybe.
sick.
Maybe, dude. Maybe.
But the art is so beautiful. The like I think this book specifically would be awesome to. Oh, can I do that? Will it stay? Shit, it won't. um but like, speaking of like how comics can be used for more than just words on a page, like this book in particular, I feel like, really, one, I think was so beautiful with the art and how
Mm,
colorful and vibrant it goes, but it also switches to like so dark and dreary. And like, this story, without like getting too deep into it, is like about loss and hardship, and how having your people around you, not just your family, but like the people that you support yourself with,
sure.
and like the art that you choose to like process your trauma or get you through the day, and just like how important that is, how those people and how the art and those things that you care about are just so important, and like mixed with just some insanely top tier visuals, like so good. So I think Murder Falcon is
Nice.
a
Yeah, I
hundred
gotta I
percent
gotta look it up and see if I can get it from the library.
Oh yeah, hundred
Or
hundred
if I can
percent
borrow it from my local Barnes and Noble.
um so yeah, and I think even more so that this, um I think, like, reflecting on this month and how this month and what this show even is to like me, that this book is even more special because like this pod is like my heavy metal, and like the
Hmm.
people in the band are like all of my homies, and it means so much to me that like I said before, like feeling like telling you thank you for doing this feels almost silly because it's so much fun, but like
Yes.
I do appreciate this time so much. And I think it's so hard, the older we get, like the harder it is to like, make time for the people
Sure.
that you care about the most, even if that, like, because I feel like I've been hit with like what we were talking about a couple of episodes ago, just like, you know, it sucks that like the people that you care about can't meet you where you need, but
Hmm.
also you can't, like, you can only tell people what you need, and if they meet you there, they meet you there. But like, so
Yeah.
to me, I've been finding it so rare to have people. I mean, not finding, like, I feel like my whole life I feel like I've struggled to have people meet me where I need, but like, you are always somebody who meets me where I need and like blows past what I need a lot of the time. So just, I appreciate all of the time that we get to share,
Yeah.
cracking bevs,
Cracking
talking about
bevs.
comics.
Well, you
And
should you should appreciate that. We're coming up on the 1 year anniversary of the worst thing you or anyone has ever done to me.
Wow, a year since
This
the
is
prank.
show and tell trivia question number 21. Do you know what the worst thing you or anyone has ever done to me that happened a little less than a year ago? It actually relates to the conversation we were having earlier.
Oh, speaking of summer teeth.
No,
Oh,
that was the best. That was a good listen. I'm a prankster. When I get pranked, if it's a good prank, I appreciate it.
wait, then what was the worst? I thought
In the
that would be
interest
the
of time, should I just tell you?
yes.
When I came to Chicago, the city with no toilets, Renee and Rachel, I was told by you that you lived walking distance from the best garlic bread on earth.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought about it every minute of my time in Chicago. Then, on the last day of my trip in Chicago, I'm mentally preparing myself to spend over 1 hour and 50 minutes in an airplane, thinking I am going to die for each of those 1 hour and 50 minutes, knowing at least I'll
You
have
would
the
have the
best
world's best
garlic
garlic.
bread in my belly as I crashed into some part between Illinois, Indiana, and Columbus. And then you said, well,
We
I
don't
have
have
to see
time.
Ant-Man today, and if I take you to the airport tonight, I will miss it. So can we go see Ant-Man? And I said, aren't we going to get garlic bread? And you said, no, we're just going to have to go see Ant-Man. Is that cool? And in my head, I did the calculus of how what
How
it would
cool it would be.
cost to be a good guest to say, sure, I'll go see Ant-Man, even though I'd rather die than not eat the world's best garlic bread. And well, you know how the story goes. We went to see Ant-Man. I ended up liking it more than you did, and I still have never had Stella's garlic bread.
And let me tell you, when you come to Chicago next, the very first stop we will do is get some garlic bread because
I'm not sure I'm coming back. That's how hurt I am.
you're coming back for this
No,
garlic bread.
I'm just kidding. I will be in Chicago. I love it. That's a good town.
Hell yeah. My other
That's
real quick recommendation, since we were talking about books at the beginning of the month,
yeah.
just wanted to plug it real quick. Oh, can you see it? No, you
Oh
can't.
yeah. Hey, that's up next on my shelf.
The Steady by Allison Estorino. Yeah. We were talking about it so much on in Florida that I got cracking into it. I'm a couple of chapters in. Already made me cry.
You hadn't read it previously.
No.
Chill. Let me chill. Let me catch up. We'll book club it.
Hell yeah. All right.
The steady.
The Steady by
Steady as she
Allison.
goes.
Steady as she goes. So those are my
Um,
two recs.
great. You want to see my keepsake?
Of course.
Okay, so fans of the pod know that I've been trying to divest myself of stuff, right? Feeling cluttered, cooled off with the vinyl, sold out
Yeah.
with the CDs. Then, I'm kind of constantly thinning out my books. Been really embracing the library, and it feels good. So I was thinking, like, I think when you think of a keepsake, you think of like a knickknack, right?
Yeah.
Like not something kitschy, something silly, but that has meaning based on what the object is representative of, or the individual that gave it to you. For example, I have this keepsake. Um, this is
Oh.
a um, this is a miniature Farmall tractor. It's a silly little toy. It's been in every office I've ever worked in because annually in Plain City there is a tractor parade, and it's a big deal for people that live in Plain City. And Rachel's mom gave me that tractor after my first tractor parade. Now, that's not what I brought to show and tell because that's not my most recent keepsake.
Yeah.
That's just an example of where I'm at for, thinking about
Keepsakes.
keepsakes. The thing with keepsakes, they're very compatible with me because as like I feed off of people and relationships and, communion and communication. But I've been resisting the urge for clutter and stuff. I don't want to
Yeah.
commodify my relationships. Now, listen, this isn't really a commodity. This isn't taking up a
Right.
lot of real estate. It's a cute little thing. Every time I look at it, I think of my very first tractor festival, and it's like amazing memories. But like in general, I want to more consciously have those memories and those relations dialed up to where I don't need an object to tap into them.
Yeah.
So, okay, recent keepsake, I don't know. The dogs got me a dachshund snow globe for Christmas. Maybe
Oh.
that's a keepsake. It's cute, but it's already in storage, so I couldn't bring that. So I got to thinking, like, what's been bothering me? What's important to me? And then I saw it hidden away behind a stack of stuff in my bedroom at my house. This fall, I was a co-best man in my one of my best friend's wedding, Kitten, Matt Knight's.
Shout out,
And
kitten.
yeah, shout out Kitten. And when he at the rehearsal dinner, usually the groom he'll give his groomsmen some kind of gift. And he gave me and the other best man a bottle of like the world's best bourbon, Blanton's
Hmm.
bourbon. And the reason that was meaningful is because he knew it was my favorite and he picked it especially for me. The other reason it was meaningful, playing the long game here, Kitten got all the groomsmen personalized snifters, which is the name of a bourbon cup.
It's the glass.
Yeah, it's the glass. Now that's especially funny because in between the ask and the rehearsal dinner, we had the bachelor party. We went to Kentucky. We went to all the bourbon places. So I like bourbon a lot. I'm a big
Oh,
bourbon
he
guy, but
really did play the long game. Okay, okay.
I don't need multiple bourbon snifters. I
Right.
really don't need one, but I have one and it's very special. So I have all these glasses, like literal clutter in my room. And I'm like looking, I'm like, what is all that stuff back there? And I pulled it out, and at some point, I had just set it somewhere to be safe. I had my corsage from the wedding, and I was like, oh, how'd that
Oh,
get in there? And then I tried to pull it out, and it was stuck. It's kind of like a Beauty and the Beast rose thing going on.
yeah.
And I thought, what a perfect object, you know? It sort of captures the whole journey from like when Matt asked if I'd be in his wedding, he gave me this glass.
Yeah.
And then at Matt's wedding, I wore this flower on my lapel, and now they're sort of permanently bonded together. And I thought, you know what? Matt's a big part of my life. I got a picture of him up here. I actually have two pictures of him up here.
Yeah.
Um, this should be in my office. This shouldn't be like behind
A bookshelf
some,
or something.
some junk in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So most recent keepsake, it's a bourbon glass with a dead flower in it.
I love
But
that. I
what
love
it
that.
means to me is a reminder that I got a little buddy out there who's busy. He's a busy guy. I don't see him that much, but that doesn't mean he doesn't care. That doesn't mean that it's not a fulfilling relationship. And every time I have a glass of bourbon out of a different glass, I don't have my bourbon at school. I can think of Kitten. So I'm gonna live on the show here. I'm gonna add this to the knickknack shelf.
Live on the pod. Yes. I love that. See, and like
Mm.
to me, that is like that is kind of my whole vibe with my I mean, this studio isn't set up like that, but like just looking at my shelf, like I have my DJ Khaled the Keys book from when we were all about DJ Khaled. Like I
But do
have
you still have the banner?
Oh, of course. I mean, it's not hung up and I don't know where it's at, but I have it. I would never get
It's
rid of it.
somewhere.
And I have like my bottle of last ones, the dab hot sauce from when I did the hot ones with my boy Toast. Like
Shout out to Toast,
I
not
think
just breakfast.
to me that is like the to me I think that's like the beauty of like a of a thing.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like things, but
Yeah.
like to me like
But like what they can do for us.
yes. Like things can get cluttery and like it can be a lot like in pursuit of like you said commodifying
Yeah. Well, it's when the
things.
thing stops being what it represents and it's the thing itself. The thing itself is bad.
Yeah. I
Maybe, not always. The thing itself can be bad. What the thing represents is never bad.
yeah, that's why I've
Unless it's
always
like a thing that reminds you of something shitty, I guess.
a spiteful keepsake.
Yeah, I keep saying like, oh, I hated that person and they gave me this gift.
Let's see. Do I have any
And I'm
spiteful
looking for something that you gave me as a joke.
I'm like, do I have any spiteful keepsakes? No. Um
That'd be a good pod.
I'm
Let's look
gonna
at things that make us feel unpleasant.
I'm gonna add it to the show and tell list. Spiteful
Sure.
keepsake.
Fabulous.
Tony, we're about to get kicked out. Shouts, dog. Have a great day.
You too, bruv.
I'll catch you soon.
Clink.
Clink.